Listeners, I'm delighted to have here with me at the station of All India Radio, Mr. Sentilong Ozukum, a civil servant, a motivational speaker, and an emerging literary voice from the Northeast India. He has just brought out his third book, Dreams in Chaos. Of course, we shall be discussing about his book. But before that, I would like to have a little chit chat with him. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity and the time.
Thanks for having me.
Apart from being a sensational writer, a very much celebrated personality, you also is an EAC at the Chung headquarters.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you find all the time between your schedules to write book as well as work at the office?
Okay, that's a very pertinent question asked by many people and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm quite busy at the office, especially this year because of the pandemic situation.
Mm-hmm.
But how do I get time? There is a small secret. The secret is this. Ever since I was a kid, even till today, I can't sleep beyond 5 a.m. in the morning.
Oh.
I always wake up between 4:30 to 5. So it's like a daily ritual for me. It's like a daily habit, like brushing teeth. Huh? So I realized that when you wake up early in the morning, when you wake up early every day, you find a lot of time to do what you're passionate about, right?
Yeah.
And then I also feel that 24 hours in a day is sufficient to accomplish anything. So the second thing is that when you're passionate about something, no matter how busy you are, you'll always find time to do it. So these are the two little secrets I have.
All right. So listeners, it goes with the saying, the early bird catches the worm. So let's all keep that in mind and try waking up early in the morning as much as possible. So when was the first time, at what age did you first start writing?
I picked up writing quite late in life. Earlier in school, I enjoyed the English classes. I almost enjoyed all the classes, all the subjects. But as far as writing is concerned, I did not pursue it from a very early age. I think it was only when I was on the verge of graduation from college that I picked up writing. And eventually, I learned that I had the passion to do it. So it was during my final year in college that I wrote a book called Campus Blues, which was published in 2010. That book became a bestseller as well as it was loved by so many readers. So I got the encouragement and the motivation to continue further. And so yes, I picked up reading and writing at a very late age in life. But I think it's never too late.
Well, apart from writing, do you have any other passion?
Yes, apart from writing, I'm quite passionate about speaking, storytelling.
All right.
And I'm also passionate about teaching. And I also love to play cricket.
Cricket. So your first book was The Campus Blues. And then after you have another one, Sincerely Yours. And now finally this Dreams in Chaos. Is there any relation between these three books or are they all independent from each other?
No. The latest book, Dreams in Chaos, is the sequel to Campus Blues.
Okay.
So Campus Blues was published in 2010. It is a story of a young guy called Muliti Chamir and his journey for love and friendship. And Dreams in Chaos, which was published just a few days back, it begins where Campus Blues ends.
Okay.
So you can say that Dreams in Chaos is the sequel to Campus Blues. The other book, Sincerely Yours, which I published in 2017, is a collection of short stories. It is not a novel. It contains around 9 short stories.
All right. To be very honest, the youngsters these days or the generation of our world are more indulged in social medias or in one or the other way with their cell phone, computers and whatnot. And people, I feel, that's my personal view though, I feel that people hardly get time to read or they hardly indulged in reading.
Yes.
Don't you feel it's a little frustrating when people don't read as much as they used to before?
Yes, it's frustrating to learn that the present generation is not picking up reading in the way that we want them to be. I think the art of reading as well as the art of storytelling is a dying art in our culture. While growing up, do you remember we used to sit with our cousins, with our friends, whether it was in the school or in the church or, after dinner at home? We used to gather together, tell stories. And
Yeah.
our parents, our grandfathers, our grandmothers used to narrate stories to us. This culture is dying. Young people didn't do that anymore, as well as reading. So, because of the invasion of the smartphones and the internet and social media, young people they spend a lot of time on social media, which is actually proving to be quite harmful to the young generation. So, we should revive the art of reading and we should revive the art of storytelling among the younger generation. It's a bit frustrating, but then I also see that there are so many young people who have the passion to read. It's just that they are not exposed to literature. So once you identify the passion in students as well as in young people and expose them to literature, they read and they pick up the habit quite fast.
Okay. Well, we all both agree on the frustration. And of course, while talking about the frustration, in fact, you have already given out the inspiration that you draw from. I suppose the last ending part of the answer is more of a inspiration that you get from. But apart from those kind of inspiration, do you have any other motivation to keep writing?
Yes, because I love telling stories.
Okay.
So whenever I'm in a group of friends or in the family or in public, I enjoy telling stories.
Okay.
So you can say that storytelling is my passion, and so I use fiction as a medium to tell my stories.
Okay.
Also, my parents, they're also good storytellers with a small penchant for drama. So at home, there's always one thing or the other happening. They're talking about religion, they're talking about culture, they're talking about this people, they're talking about that people, they're talking about politics. So I draw inspiration from their conversations. And then I also have a penchant of observing people. So if you really think about it, every person in this world is a best-selling book, right? We just have to develop the sense of observation. Also, I'm accused of daydreaming a lot. So those are some of the areas where I get my motivation from.
All right. Daydreaming. In fact, that's truly a very, so to say, the real motivation of writing books, I believe. Well, again, very honestly, a lot of books are written on a gospel basis, and that's where people get to sell their books mainly once it has something like to do with our religion. And I also feel that once you started writing all these gospel stories and books, your books, of course, they get sold in one or the other way. Have you ever thought of writing anything like that?
No, I don't think the purpose of writing a book is to sell the book. You want to tell a story, and of course, selling books is important. You want people to buy your books. But then I don't think that you do something that you are not passionate about, or you do something, that is not from within yourself, just because you want to sell books. So as for now, I'm passionate about the fiction world, the world of literature. So I think I'll stick to writing fictions and novels and short stories.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Well, a lot of our listeners may be getting introduced to you as well as your books at this moment as they're listening to our chit chat. So, how about just describing your campus blues? Of course, you have said that it's a story about a fellow called Muluti Jamir, but how about just giving a little outlay about this book?
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Campus Blues, like I said, it was written when I was in college. I was in the final year of college in Fazal Ali College, Mukukchung, and I just started writing a short story, and then it evolved into a novel. Okay, so it is a satirical novel on the education system of our country, where the protagonist, Muludi Jamir, he takes the readers on a journey of love, friendship, and self-discovery. Also, the novel was adapted into a mini television series in 2010 by Doordarshan.
All right.
And the next book, which is called Sincerely Yours, which is a collection of 9 short stories drawing from the well of everyday Naga life.
Okay.
Also, 2 of the stories from that book have also been adapted into regional films.
All right.
So Dreams in Chaos, like I mentioned earlier, is the sequel to Campus Blues. So even Dreams in Chaos is currently being adapted into an original web series by the Dimapur All Baptist Church Youth Ministry, and it is slated for a late November release.
Okay. Are any of these books related to you personally? As in, is there even a pinch or a drop of yourself in any of these stories, in any of these books?
Yes, I think no author can deny that there are no autobiographical elements in his or her writings. So, as far as the two novels are concerned, I was really frustrated by the education system of this country. I was, as a kid growing up, as well as a student in school, in college, I was frustrated by the purported morals and values that we have in our society. And, so many turmoils and social imbalances in our society today. So I decided to gather all these voices inside me and gave a voice to the protagonists. So that is how the two books came about. About Sincerely Yours, it's a collection of short stories. So every story is related to one or the other person. For in fact, the first story of the book is titled Grandfather, which is loosely based on my grandfather's life.
All right.
And the next story is called Grandmother, which again is loosely based on my grandmother's life,
All
right?
A lot of times when discussed about your books, there's this, the last story, Sincerely Yours. Who is it really about? I suppose a lot of people are questioning this. So why not just give a little clarification about this?
Okay. So yes, the story Sincerely Yours, which is the last story in the book, there is no particular person that I derive inspiration for the book. But one thing that kept on haunting me and one thing that I keep on going back was the year 2005. Yes, in the year, starting from 2003, 4, and 5, I was studying class 11 and 12 in Edith Douglas Higher Secondary School, and I was studying science. So our classmates, like 30 of us, were really close.
30?
Yeah, around 30 of us were really close. We spent time together in the lab, chemistry lab, physics lab, bio lab, and then we used to spend time a lot, There were around like odd number of, around 15 boys and around equal number of girls, and we were like one family. Some of them fell in love. Some of them were infatuated with each other. And all this stuff that happens when we are teenage kids, right? So I think the story Sincerely Yours is like a tribute to my old classmates at Edith Douglas Higher Secondary School, batch of 2005.
So simple as that. Thank you so much for bringing out the reality behind that story. And just looking at your books, some of them have very nice fancy covers and all the designings and whatnot. Who really helps with all this designings and book covers?
Okay, the book Sincerely Yours, the cover and the designing was illustrated by a friend of mine, Limasina Jamir.
Okay.
She works as an assistant professor at Jubilee Memorial College.
All right.
And for this other book, Dreams in Chaos, it's a digital art. So this was nicely done by a young guy, friend I met in Dimapur. His name is Impli. So he's a digital artist and he's really passionate about the art. So I just gave him some concepts about the novel, and he came up with this beautiful digital art. And the other one, the cover for the Campus Blues, you won't believe it, but I did it on my own in my mobile phone.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was just trying to be a wannabe artist, and I was using an app. Yeah.
So apart from writing, you also have a taste or a sense of art. So it's really nice to discover even that today at this discussion. And this book, your latest book, Dreams and Chaos, the name itself, it's a little dreams and chaos. So how many dreams and how many chaos is really there in this book?
I don't know how to answer that question, but in Dreams and Chaos, Mulidi Jamir is 30 years old. He is an educated, unemployed youth.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And because of the social turmoil and social injustices in our society, he is depressed. He's without a job.
Okay.
All his friends are getting married, they're getting jobs. He's depressed. And at the same time, there is a lot of parental pressure at home. from his father, from his mom. So he ventures out on a journey of self-discovery. So he dreams of so many things, but he also realizes that there are lots of chaos around his life. So there are more dreams than chaos, right? And at the end, I wanted to portray that following one's passion in life often leads to the discovery of the purpose in life. We always wonder, what is the purpose of my life? So a good answer to that question might be, God has put so many passion in each one of us. If you really follow the passion of your heart, it will lead you to the purpose of your life.
Well, thank you so much for answering that. Well, very recently we have had some writing competitions. It was in different pattern, essay, short story writing competition, things like that, where I got to know that more than 200 entries were there. So I was wondering, what would you suggest to upcoming writers to be a good writer?
Yes, it's encouraging to see so many young people writing, taking passion for poetry, for fiction, for short fiction, for novels, as well as for non-fiction like essays and stuff like that. Writing is a very difficult art. It's not like talent. Talent and passion can only hand you a blank book. So you need years and years and years and years of cultivating and polishing your art, right? So to be a good writer is not an easy job. You cannot be a good writer by, just practicing writing for a couple of years. It's just impossible. Even if you have the talent and the passion, you have to sit down every day and write and write and write. Even if it's gibberish or if it is nonsensical, you have to continue writing. And you cannot write unless you're reading. Right. So you need to read. Just read everything that your eyes falls on. So you need to read a lot. You need to write a lot. And I think you need to write from your heart. I'm sure there are lots of passion as well as fire raging in your belly. Write about the issues that you're concerned about. And then I believe that with hard work and with time, writing will improve. And write about social issues as well. So these are some of the advices I would give to young writers.
All right. Well, thank you so much for advising our upcoming writers. And I hope they will certainly accomplish nice books as you have come up with. Now, we have already discussed about the smartphones taking the lives or taking control of the lives of the youngsters. And if at all, if there's any possible ways, then I suppose putting up it online for people to read. It would also attract a lot of
Right. So all the 3 books are available on Kindle Store. You just have to go to www.amazon.com or you go to Kindle Store and you can download a copy of the book and you can read. So many of the readers are also downloading through the Kindle app and reading the book.
Well, listeners, we're repeating along with our Mr. Sentilong here, Kindle.com from Amazon, where you can get all these books. So if you have any passion about reading these books, then kindly find the time to browse through the said websites. So what is the core message that you really want to bring up to the people through your books or your writings?
Okay, as far as the latest novel Dreams in Chaos is concerned, some of the issues that I've dealt in the book are social alienation, unemployment problem, gender inequality, and also a little bit of entrepreneurship as well. But the core message that I wanted to convey through Dreams in Chaos is that in life, following your passion often leads to finding your purpose in life. I also wanted to convey that there are lots of social unrest and social injustices in our society, but one can achieve success in life without compromising our moral principles and values through sheer determination, sheer hard work, and having our faith in God. I also want to convey that we always look for love in other places, and we always look for love in a person. We always look for love in so many places, but we can't find love in life. It so happens that we often look for love in other places, in other person, without realizing that love is within us, right? And the final thing that I wanted to convey through the book is that we always talk about destiny, but I think destiny is when two people find each other without actually looking for each other. So these are some of the messages that I wanted to convey through the novel.
All right, thank you so much. Destiny is when we find each other without looking for each other. Yeah, that's really catchy and very interesting as well. So, just before we wind up, when can we expect something from you?
Okay, something in a sense like my kind of a next book.
Yeah, book could be a very short collection of stories,
okay,
whatnot.
okay.
So, yeah.
Yes, I've actually completed 2 novels.
All right.
Yeah, so one is completed, editing and everything is done.
Okay.
So it is a novel set in the 1990s in a village in Nagaland. So and you would love to know that the genre of the book is horror, mystery, and thriller.
All right.
So it's a book that I took a lot of time to write, just writing small pieces every year. No? So I just took like 6-7 years to complete this book. Of all the stories and novels that I've written, this is the one that I'm really satisfied with. But the publishing a book takes time. It's like a river eroding a rock. No? There is this proofreading to be done, cover to be designed, and layout to be done, and more editing and all this stuff. So let's hope that in the next 6 months, the novel will be published. And another book that I wrote during the COVID-19 pandemic, it was so stressful this year. Like we had to work for like 16, 17 hours in a day. So waking up early in the morning and writing was like a stress buster for me. So I started writing a book, a novel, again set in a village, in a very far off village. And I completed the book in a month. Right now it's in the process of editing. So if things go according to plan, then maybe we can also see that book coming at the end of next year.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Sentilong, for your time. And listeners, here we have the author of the book, Dreams and Chaos. I hope you all had a very good insight of the book. And it is our sincere prayer and hope that he do accomplish writing about his passion, about the fire in the belly, as he has rightly said, and that we get to see a lot of books and articles from him in the near future. So on behalf of the radio station and of course all the listeners, thank you so much for your time and good luck with your endeavors. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.